Good morning, class 7. We are continuing with lesson 2, kingdom classification, and today I am going to teach you about Protista. Protista is the second kingdom under the five kingdom classification given by Whittaker. Protists are unicellular but eukaryotic. Unicellular but eukaryotic means they have a proper defined nucleus and cell-bound organelles like mitochondria, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum and so on. Then they have locomotory structures also. Most of them are found in aquatic medium and they can move from one place to another with the help of hair-like cilia as seen in Paramecium. Flagella as seen in Euglena, a whip-like structure flagella. And then the body as a whole can move in any direction possible, making the animal shapeless. Pseudopodia as seen in amoeba. They are in their mode of nutrition, they may be autotrophs. Some have chlorophyll and can do photosynthesis as in Euglena and Chlamydomonas. They are called autotrophs, while others are like animals, heterotrophs. They take their food from the surroundings, maybe by a parasitic method or saprophytic method, or simply they are heterotrophs. We will study about amoeba in detail over here. Amoeba is a protist found in ponds, ditches, standing water. It's an irregular shaped animal which changes shape due to formation of pseudopodia, its locomotory structure. Pseudopodia means false feet. So the animal can change its shape. The structure of amoeba, it's a single-celled protist with a cell membrane, cytoplasm, with organelles like food vacuole, nucleus, contractile vacuole are the prominent structures inside it. It takes food and ingests it from the surrounding water by sending its pseudopodia around the food particle and ingesting it, forming a food vacuole. It digests the food in the food vacuole and then the waste is thrown out from the body wall. A contractile vacuole in the amoeba's body helps to maintain water balance and it removes nitrogenous waste and excess water from the amoeba's body. It respires through simple diffusion via cell membrane and then it reproduces by two processes, binary fission, in which a amoeba divides into two daughter amoebae. In the other method, multiple fission during unfavorable conditions when there is less water and food supply, amoeba forms a hard cover around it called as a cyst, and inside the cyst the nucleus divides into many tiny structures with cytoplasm around them, forming daughter amoebulae. When favorable conditions return, the cyst ruptures and the daughter amoebae comes out and grows. This is about amoeba. Class 7. This is kingdom fungi, the fourth kingdom among the five kingdom classification given by Whittaker. Fungi are non-green multicellular eukaryotes. As we are familiar with the word eukaryotes. Eu means well, karyotes means nucleus. Eukaryotes have well formed nucleus and they are multicellular also, but they are non-green, means they cannot carry out photosynthesis as they do not have chlorophyll. Their mode of nutrition may be saprophytic. Most of them are saprophytic. They take their nutrition from dead matter like bread mold, from leather, food articles, dead skin. They grow on it. Then some may be symbiotic. They have friendly relationships with algae forming lichens. Then some may be parasitic. They may be living in the bodies of living plants and animals, like ringworm infection. Then their body is special. Their body is not actually, it looks like a cell, but it looks like thread-like network, which is called as mycelium, filamentous mycelium. And in this mycelium there are thread-like hyphae. They reproduce by spores and reproduce by it. Asexual mode of reproduction. Examples are mushroom, rhizopus and mucor, that is bread mold, yeast, the unicellular fungi, penicillium, the fungi which gave us the first antibiotic, penicillin. We will study about mucor, that is molds, bread molds, in detail under fungi. Mucor is a bread mold. It's a cotton-like growth which we see on stale bread. Its body is made up of mycelium filamentous, thread-like mycelium, and single threads are called as hyphae. These hyphae, some run simply parallel to the surface, they are called as stolons. Then some penetrate into the dead matter and form root-like rhizoids which absorb nutrition from the dead matter. Some hyphae become erect and bear ball-like sporangiums. These are reproductive bodies in which tiny spores are there. When the spores mature, this sporangium bursts and the spores are released into the air. So bread molds are essentially saprophytes. They live on stale bread and other food matter and digest the starch in them with the help of enzymes produced in their body into glucose. So this is extracellular digestion which they do. The digestion takes place in the food matter and the digested matter is absorbed by rhizoids. Then food is stored in their body as oil droplets or glycogen droplets. They undergo aerobic respiration just like us, taking in oxygen from the air through diffusion into their cells and giving out carbon dioxide. Now fungi have some economic importance. Scientists have found many uses for them. Fungi are used in food industry like mushrooms. Mushrooms like agaricus are edible and rich source of proteins and vitamins. Even they are grown on commercial level. Yeast, as you know, is the baker's delight. Bakers add yeast to their dough and make breads and other bakery items. Yeast is even added in wine industry to make alcohols and wines. Some species of aspergillus are used to flavor and ripen cheese of different varieties. Yeast finds some use in medicine. That was the first antibiotic Penicillin, discovered from Penicillium notatum of mold. Now there are various varieties, about 25 varieties of antibiotics obtained from molds. Like cephalosporin, this cures pneumonia, meningitis. They are also used to synthesize proteins and fats. Yeast, aspergillus synthesize proteins and fats. Then in chemical industry they are used to make artificial acids, organic acids like citric acid, malic acid, prepared from fungi. They find use in agriculture also. They increase soil fertility by acting upon dead matter lying in the soil and changing it into manure, which can be absorbed by the plants, increasing soil fertility. They prevent soil leaching, means they don't let soils lose their essential salts. They absorb them back. Fungi can also prevent other harmful soil organisms from causing diseases, especially in the soil. But certain fungi are harmful, especially parasitic and saprophytic one. Ringworm infections spread on the damp skin. Acrid spot is caused by fungi. Then spores of the molds in the air cause allergic reactions like sneezing, rhinitis. They cause many plant diseases. Downy mildew of grapes, grapes turn blackish in color. Blight of potatoes, rust in wheat, where the grains do not develop, turn powdery. They spoil food, especially fruits. If left out like oranges, molds grow on the skin of oranges and spoil them. Meat, dairy products are spoiled by them if left without refrigeration. They spoil leather goods like shoes, belts, especially during rainy season when the atmosphere has lots of moisture, because moisture and slight warmth are the two conditions which molds prefer for growth. So that's about fungi, the fourth kingdom. Then we are going to discuss in the next session about kingdom Plantae, the last one. Thank you.